Pops here. Welcome back to You Got This, Pops. I want to talk today about the Phoenix retreat. This subject came up a couple times in Doc and I's last broadcast, and we hit on it, but we didn't really go into it. And the reality of things is that this has become the target for B and I and our family and the way we want to live. So I just wanted to go ahead and get it out there now so that we can let people know like where we're going. What's the where, the who, the why, all of that wrapped up into one. And this is a vision and roadmap document that I prepared a couple of weeks ago and have been playing with. I want to read it now just to share it. Feel free to send me comments. If you know me, reach out. I would love feedback on this. Let me know what you guys think. Would you like to be a part of it? Any kind of brainstorming that we can get going on this is beneficial to the whole overall purpose, right? So we'll just see where it goes. Part 1, the rising. There was a time when we thought strength meant carrying it all. The pain, the pressure, the expectations, the silence. We wore endurance like armor, believing that if we just pushed harder or held it together longer, life would eventually make sense. But it doesn't really work like that. Sometimes life breaks you and allows you to see what truly matters. For B and I, that breaking point came through the unimaginable pain of losing our daughter, Jaden. There aren't words to do justice to what that kind of loss feels like. It changes everything you are, everything you think you know about control, faith, and the way the world works. It stripped me down to the bone, and in that emptiness, I began to see differently. Grief has a way of becoming a teacher. It showed me that healing doesn't mean moving on. It means learning to carry love and pain in the same breath. It means letting hard things reshape you instead of destroy you. That's what started the rise. Not in some grand cinematic way, but in the small moments, choosing to get out of bed, choosing to leave my heart open, choosing to keep showing up for the people that I love. My wife, B, was one of those people who kept showing up with me. Her laughter, cooking, and ability to love, and her healing of people through food, all of it reminded me that beauty still exists even in the ashes. Over time, I started to see a pattern in my own story and the lives of the men and women around me. So many of us carry silent weight, grief, guilt, exhaustion, questions about God and purpose that we don't know how to voice. We live in a world that rewards performance, not presence, a world that leaves little room for honest pain and honest healing. That realization collided with another truth that I couldn't ignore anymore. I didn't want to just survive life. I wanted to help others find life again, and I wanted to use my pain and my story to try to create space for others to be able to lay theirs down for a while. My brother Doc Wooten and I started talking about a pipe dream of mine here a couple of months ago, and I just started seeing it. And that's when it really started to form something greater. It was kind of a whisper at first, and then it started louder and clearer. We began to actually see a place I had only imagined before, somewhere between Red River, New Mexico, and Glacier National Park and the Rocky Mountains, where the land itself could breathe healing into people. A place with cabins and teepees, where the sound of the river runs alongside the sounds of laughter and music by the fire. A place where people could reconnect, not through screens or systems, but through silence, through story, through being human again. We didn't know it then, but the idea already had a name, the Phoenix Retreat, because what we were really dreaming about wasn't escape, it was resurrection. It was the idea that no matter what burns down in our lives, something inside us can still rise. The Phoenix isn't a place we want to build, it's the life we're learning to live. One that believes healing is possible, that struggle and beauty can coexist, and that sometimes the ashes are the most sacred part of the story. In many ways, the Phoenix began long before it had a name. It was born in the quiet spaces between grief and grace, the same space where we started asking different questions about what it means to heal, to believe, and to live honestly. Those questions have become the heartbeat of everything we're building. What we've learned is that fire doesn't just destroy, it reveals. It burns away the illusions we cling to and leaves behind what's real. That's the story of the Phoenix. It's our story, and it's the story of every person who's ever faced the flames and chose to rise. Part 2, the meaning. The Phoenix has always been more than a myth to me. It's a mirror, a reminder that life isn't about avoiding the fire, but learning what it has to teach us. We live in a world that celebrates the polished and the painless, but real growth, the kind that rewrites your heart and rebuilds your faith, happens in the heat, It's uncomfortable, humbling, and sometimes it feels like it might undo you completely. But the truth is, nothing new can be born until something old is burned away. That's what the phoenix represents, not destruction, but transformation. The ashes are not a grave, they're soil. They hold everything needed for something new to take root. For me, this symbol became personal when my faith began to fall apart. I had built so much of my identity on the ideas of control, of who God is supposed to be, who I'm supposed to be, what a good life looks like. The loss doesn't play by any of those rules. Grief doesn't fit into tidy theology. When Jaden died, the version of faith I had could not hold the weight of what I felt. So it fell apart. And that was the beginning of something real. I stopped trying to perform faith and started trying to experience it. I stopped chasing answers and started making peace with mystery. And I began to believe that maybe the divine doesn't stand above us and our pain, but sits in the ashes with us, whispering, "Rise when you're ready." That understanding became the spiritual backbone of the Phoenix. This isn't a place for people who have everything figured out. It's a place for people who were brave enough to be honest about their exhaustion, their doubt, their grief, their longing for something deeper, or it might be just that deep need to reconnect with family in an environment that reminds you anything is possible. We believe that healing isn't found in perfection, it's found in presence. It's in the shared meals, honest conversations, deep breaths by the river, music echoing off the canyon walls, and the quiet of the morning that asks nothing of you except to be here. The Phoenix stands for the belief that struggle and beauty coexist. They're not opposites, they're partners. Healing is not a straight line. It's a rhythm of burning and blooming. Faith can survive deconstruction. It might even grow stronger there. We rise together. It's for the whole family because no one is meant to heal alone. Presence is the antidote for pressure. The world moves fast. We choose to move deep. When I imagine the Phoenix, I don't see a resort. I see a refuge, a living invitation to lay down the weight you've been carrying, to breathe, to remember that you're not broken, you are becoming. Part 3, the land. When you start seeing life through the lens of rebirth, the land itself begins to take on a new look. It begins to speak differently. Mountains aren't just mountains anymore. They're symbols of endurance. Rivers become mirrors of movement and mercy. Winds and silence become prayer. That's why we know the Phoenix belongs in the Rockies. Somewhere out there, there's a stretch of country that feels like the meeting place between heaven and earth. We don't know the exact coordinates yet, but we'll know it when we see it. The land we imagine is alive. A river runs through it, steady, cold, and clear. And at its heart is a self-sustaining farm. It's not about profit, it's about participation. The simple act of growing food, tending to the earth, and remembering where nourishment really comes from. Bee's dream will live here. A kitchen and table open to the smell of soil, wood smoke, and you. Cabins and teepees will line the riverbank and circle the gathering places, each one unique. There will be RV spaces for travelers, open fields for stargazing, and a fire ring where the night gathers its stories. Hell, you can even stay in Doc's place when he's out on one of his adventures. Every element of the land will invite rest from the system, reconnection with the earth, and rhythm with creation. Part 4, the experience. When you arrive at the Phoenix, they won't just find a destination. You'll find a rhythm. The land itself will start to set the pace. The experience here isn't about escape. It's about return, a return to presence, to the body, and to the earth. If they choose, guests can move through the flow of healing and learning. Therapeutic and coaching sessions explore grief, faith transitions, and identity. Outdoor and creative practices, yoga, fishing, storytelling, songwriting, art, who knows what else. Hands-on learning, gardening, sustainable farming, ethical hunting, foraging, and survival skills that restore confidence and trust in the self. Every experience teaches that healing is found not just in reflection, but in participation, in the planting, building, cooking, laughing, and creating. At the Phoenix, there's a focus on all ages, and the care for the young ones will follow the same themes of learning and living that we do for everybody else. If you wish, at the Phoenix, even your pets can be treated to the experience. Everybody here matters. If one of the domestic animals roaming around the Phoenix finds its way into your heart, make sure you hit one of us up. Many of them will be rescues, so it's possible they found their forever family. Evenings gather everyone around the fire, music, laughter, silence, and all blending under the stars. The Phoenix won't fix people. It will reintroduce them to themselves and their family. Part 5, the people. The Phoenix exists for everybody, really. Men who carry the silent weight, who need a place where strength looks like softness. Women who hold the world together, single mothers and nurturers who deserve rest and laughter. The younger generation who need to be met where they're at and reminded that it's okay to be there. High achievers burning out, searching for purpose beyond performance. Grievers, seekers, and questioners, those standing in the tension between loss and faith. And the ones who want to break free, tired of technology noise and the surface living. They all share one truth. Normal no longer works. The Phoenix exists for those ready to trade surviving for living, performance for presence, and fear for freedom. Part 6, the ecosystem. The Phoenix isn't one thing, it's many things moving in harmony. Coaching and counseling, the heart work of transformation, the podcast, the voice that spreads the message far beyond the mountains, Bee's farm table kitchen, healing through nourishment and community, the land, a living classroom in self-sufficiency and reverence for creation, the family, everyone has a place at this table. Each feeds the other. The podcast draws the people in, coaching and counseling deepen the journey, the retreat renews, the farm and food ground it all, and together they form a rhythm, a way of living, not just a business model. Part 7 is the growth plan, and I'll spare you guys that piece, but basically it lays out what things look like over the next 0 to 10 years, 6-month increments, and get into business planning and those kind of things. And if somebody would like to talk about those things, feel free to reach out to me for sure. Part 8, the alignment. The Phoenix mirrors the marriage and friendships that birthed it. B brings warmth, creativity, and laughter. I bring reflection and direction. Doc rounds us off like no artist can and reminds us how to see. Together we hold balance, and I promise you all of us bring plenty of laughter. We'll protect that balance with intention, though. Love first, work second, shared leadership rooted in trust, built-in Sabbath rest, honest, gentle communication. We'll invite mentors and friends into the circle to keep us accountable and grounded. The retreat can only heal others as long as it stays a place that we can also be healed. We don't just want to build the Phoenix, we want to live it. Our greatest success will be waking up grateful, still in awe, still laughing, still choosing to love. Part 9, the legacy. When I think about why we're building the Phoenix, I see faces, and I see Jaden. Her light lives in every part of this vision. She taught me that love never ends, it transforms. Her legacy will live in the laughter at Bee's table, in the quiet beside the river, and every soul who remembers how to rise. The Phoenix stands as proof that pain doesn't have to be wasted. The ashes of loss are beginnings, not endings. If all this dream ever becomes is one refuge where a few people in the mountains can come together and find peace, it'll be enough, because the real legacy is simple. Love is stronger than loss, presence is more powerful than perfection, and no one is beyond renewal. The Phoenix is not just our dream, it's our offering. What rises from the ashes here will ripple far beyond us. So, thank you guys so much for letting me read that to you. Forgive me for my few little bumbles there. I had to record that I'm not even going to tell you how many times just to try to get through it and read. It's a lot harder to read than it is just to get up here and talk and run my mouth. And if you've met me, you know how easy it is to run my mouth. But anyway, I do enjoy the reading part, and I'm so glad that I was able to read it to you guys. I hope that everybody's doing great, and I would love to hear anything you've got to add or any questions you might have on this. Feel free to reach out to me. I hope everybody has an amazing day. I love you guys so much. Take care.